Hello and welcome here to TalkFCB and welcome back to the channel here today, guys. And I've got to be honest with you, I don't ever remember being this happy the day after a defeat. You know, technically, it was a defeat over the two legs. We were knocked out by Atletico Madrid. But last night's performance, it was so exciting. It was so promising. I think we can take so much from that game. And ultimately, I think the one word we would all use to describe our emotions, our feelings after that final whistle went, pride. We felt genuine pride with what we'd seen from our team, and that's what it's all about. And coming up today, we're going to be hearing from Hansi Flick. You know, I thought he had a great reaction to the game. I think even he was really energised by what he saw from his players. We're also going to be talking about some of the knock-on effects, maybe, from this game, though, in terms of injuries, in terms there of the way the players need to recover now. And we are going to be having an early look ahead to the Champions League. That's coming in only a few days' time against Newcastle at St James's Park. And there's also going to be time today too to talk about Ferran Torres' performance from last night. So it's all on the way, a big video coming up for you, so get ready. And let's do this. Because after what was such a special night, such a great night that it was for each and every one of us, I want to welcome two brand new Patreons to the channel right here. A big shout out and a huge thank you to Yo Mikey and also to Jay. Thanks for joining, and I really do appreciate that support. Because genuinely, guys, have you ever felt like this before? You know, have you ever been knocked out of a competition here supporting Barca and actually felt very good, very excited? I would actually say here, this was one of our best moments of the season. And that is strange. And look, we as Barca fans, we're not celebrating failure. We're not celebrating here being knocked out of a competition, but we have been waiting for that kind of display. We have been waiting to face a top team. There was a lot of pressure on last night, and I actually think that Barca brought a lot of the pressure on themselves, firstly, from the first leg performance, but then into the second leg. You know, like I say, the social media teams, they were really encouraging the idea of a comeback, you know, piling the pressure on the players, saying, look, we can do it, it's going to happen, it's going to be a big night at the Camp Nou. The atmosphere was extraordinary, amazing welcome from the fans, brilliant noise in the stands as well, and with all of that, the players responded. The players stood up and performed, and not only for 10 minutes, not only for one half of the game, not only for one or two goals, that was a complete 90-minute performance. It had energy, it had intensity, it had focus, it had determination, and above all else, it had heart. That is what we need to see. That is what this group has been crying out for this season in a big game. Stand up to the challenge. Show us that you can take on that responsibility, that you can handle pressure. And I thought there was so much to take from that, so much that we can build on now. Take on with us into the Champions League. Use this momentum, use this confidence to spur you on. And maybe this was just the beginning. Because certainly there, after the game, Hansi Flick, like I say, I think even he was excited. You know, he felt really proud of his players. He spoke about pride so many times in the performance, in the way that they demonstrated the game style out there. And I think above all else, he was really proud of the way that they executed the game plan. It was a really focused display from Barca. There was discipline. You know, we were attacking, we were going forward, we were really trying to force the issue, but at the same time, there was a clear plan there. It wasn't just gung-ho, it wasn't just, you know, pump the ball into the box, let's just try and make something happen. It was methodical, it was clear in the way we were playing, it was very well done. And like I say, so much focus, so much concentration on the defensive side of things as well. And that's what Flick said after the game. Full commitment to this style. Every player was buying in.
After these two defeats, we spoke a lot with the team and also and everyone is totally convinced about how we are playing football, the style how we play football, and you can see it also today. So I think everyone played fantastic. You also can see that the team is totally motivated about what they are doing. So I think this is the best thing we can do. So the supporters and the players with a good connection help together to win titles, and this is our job. And also, I think everyone wants to help us, and this is a good situation.
And to be perfectly honest with you guys, it's not just about what we think here as Barca fans. It's not even just about what Hansi Flick has said about the display. Such was the performance last night from Barca, the quality that was on show. Even Atleti have genuinely applauded this team. Diego Simeone, after the game yesterday, he was glowing in his praise for Barca, and also in particular to Raphinha, to Pedri. He spoke about those two being two of the best players in the world. We actually saw him go up to Raphinha at the end of the game and almost console him at the final whistle. I think even Diego Simeone here, even as the opposing coach, he could appreciate the level that we showed last night. We stopped Atleti in every sense of the word, and we dominated them from start to finish. They could not get out of their half. They had no hope in this game. It was complete and utter domination. And Kounde was exactly the same after the final whistle there. He actually admitted we all wanted the game to end as soon as possible. That's the way that Barca made us feel. That's the way the atmosphere inside the stadium got on top of us. We couldn't wait for it to be over. And again, even he singled out Pedri too for special praise about the way that he played in this game. And I think he was fantastic. There's no two ways about that. Obviously, it wasn't necessarily about individuals. It was the team performance from Barca that was the real standout for me. But Pedri was absolutely masterful. When you're thinking about the fact that he's only just recently come back from injury, he's still working his way towards the absolute top gear. And even after the game, almost concerningly in a way, Flick admitted it was a risk to play him for the entire game. I mean, you look at Pedri at the final whistle, he was all out. He was absolutely exhausted. But Flick admitted, I can't leave him out. I need him out there in this team.
So I'm really happy that nothing happens, to be honest. So I think we needed Pedri on the pitch. So this is why I asked him if he can continue, and I'm really happy because it was a risk to let him play 90 minutes. I think, and he said after the game nothing happened, so it's okay. He has some cramps, and also you can see on the pitch with him it's a totally different game.
But speaking though about individuals, speaking about individual performances that really did catch the eye last night, well, there was huge praise from Hansi Flick towards Pau Cubarsi, and I thought it was a great game for him, not only just in terms of the performance, but I think for him to feel again the kind of player that he is, because I think it's been a rough season for Pau Cubarsi. At times there's been individual mistakes from him. At times he's been part of a backline that has been so disorganised. As a Barca defender, it can't be easy to play this system. It is very, very demanding, and people seem to forget with Pau, he is 19 years old. Now, at any point in a player's career, at 19, you're still learning. You are still learning about the game. But as a young centre-back, it's even more than that. It's such a difficult position to play, and in this system, as such a young player. And again, with not that much experience around him. Last season he was playing with Inigo Martinez, he was helping him, he was really showing him the way at times. He hasn't had that this season. It has been different partnerships, different combinations at centre-back, but this was big for him to show, this is who I am. This is the player I can be. And Flick, like I say, huge praise, saying he can be one of the very, very best defenders.
Also Kuba, unbelievable game today. So this is also this, he played one or two matches not. It had a reason why. And I think now it's great. This is the attitude I want, this mentality I want from him, because he's a fantastic talent. So it's one of the best center defender in the world, and he could be maybe one of the best. With the ball, build up, he's really good. But now, how we show it today, it was amazing, and really, really good to see that.
But indeed, guys, like I say, if I was to have one concern after this game, and it's only one concern because the performance was so good, I think we can all be really, really happy about that. If there was only one concern, it would be, how much did it take out of the players? And not only physically as well, but thinking about emotionally. I think every single player genuinely believed they could make the comeback. That's great in itself, to be 4-0 down and still have that self-belief, still have that confidence that, yeah, We can turn this around though. We are very much capable of doing this, and because they believed, in the end, it obviously hurts. We were very, very close to doing it. 3-0, we were on the cusp of something special. So how did the players bounce back now? You know, what is the reaction in the dressing room? Flick admitted there is disappointment, and naturally, you know, when you're that close, when you've come that close to something truly historic, there's going to be a bit of a come down, because there was no denying, nobody is questioning at all, that they left everything they had, every last drop of effort they gave it last night.
But at the end, it's normal that you're disappointed after the game, and I think everyone was exhausted because they left everything on the pitch. So it's like it's amazing, you know. They give more than 100%, and this is fantastic. I think also the supporters are happy with this game. Of course, we maybe also a little bit disappointed, but it's normal. Everyone today is playing with his whole heart, and for this club, it's fantastic to see this.
And I think that's why right now, you know, thinking about the way the players are feeling emotionally, physically as well, there's a lot of emphasis right now from Flick on that recovery. I think he's very much aware of how much it has taken out of them. It was a big game, it was a big night. There's always going to be lots of energy in those kinds of games, you know, from the crowd as well. The player and the crowd connection last night was absolutely amazing. But now it's about looking forward. Now it's about sort of taking that next step. We got the weekend against Athletic Club. Then we have Champions League games. It is all about recovery now. Get yourself ready for those games. And how we navigate our way through, well, that's up next.
For me, it's now focus on the next. It's Athletic Bilbao, also a good team. And we have to recover now. We have every 3-4 days we have a match, and you know, and this is at the moment our job for the next weeks, month, when we want to reach also, or want to play many games in Champions League. We have to do it like this. So it's about recovery. It's about focus on our job, and this is what I want to see from the team, because the quality we saw today, it's there. It's unbelievable, and I'm really proud about my team, so it's fantastic.
Because indeed, when you are thinking about recovery, when you're thinking about the best way to bounce back, the best way to preserve players there, and actually get this performance more often. Because in my opinion, guys, you can't actually do this every 3 days. It's not possible, in my opinion, for Barca to play in that way with the pressing, with that sheer amount of intensity and focus and concentration and just hard work, running, pressing all game. You can't do that, and maybe you don't need to do that every single game. You need to provide it, though, in the big ones. In the games where it truly matters, you need to have enough in the tank to fully go for it and produce that display. Now, with that in mind, what I'm going to ask you now is what we do on Saturday, away at Athletic Club. Now, in normal circumstances, that's a tricky game. That is a very, very difficult game there to go away to San Mamés. They have players who can hurt us. Of course, in recent times as well, it's never been an easy place to go. We're all aware of that. You wouldn't usually say, oh yeah, let's rotate a bit at San Mamés in La Liga. Is there a case for it, though? Because what I want to see is what we saw last night from Barca in the Champions League, when we go away to Newcastle, which is only on Tuesday. You know, it's a matter of days away. I want to see that version. Now, in my opinion, we got a 4-point gap in La Liga. Real Madrid, I'll tell you right now, they're going to drop more points. They are a shadow of what they have been in recent times. Real Madrid will drop more points in La Liga. We have a cushion. Now, in my opinion, I would rotate a bit. I honestly would. On Saturday against Athletic, I would make sure that the players can recover properly. We're going to talk about injuries in a moment. That is a massive concern. If we keep the same group out there, same players, minute after minute, something has to give. In order to see what we did last night, in order to produce those kind of displays, you do have to make sacrifices. You do have to let the players recover. And in my opinion, that means there has to be some rest. Because that does bring us on to injuries. Now, this is suddenly becoming a massive problem, and there's no escaping that, guys. We were already having to come to terms with the fact that we've lost Frenkie de Jong. And that was a really significant injury too that took place in training there. It was something that's going to keep him out for over a month. That was a big, big blow to the team in midfield. Now, last night, Jules Kounde lasted a matter of minutes before he had to be subbed off. It's a massive problem because it's a hamstring injury, it is a muscle problem, and it is something that's going to keep him out reportedly. We're still getting the test done, we're still waiting for the official confirmation, but it looks like about a month. Already here, losing a player like Jules Kounde for a month at this point in the season, that is a massive problem. But it's not just that, because then Balde comes on to replace him, and then he ends up going off injured. And the worst part about that is that it could be even more serious there. I think Kounde's is a hamstring issue. Balde's might be a tear. It might be a muscle tear that could keep him out there to anything there. Maybe 6 weeks or more, we're hearing in the media right now. So straight away, you lose 2 of your massive fullbacks. And I tell you what right now, this is reminiscent of last season, and not in a good way. Can you remember last season, at the business end, in the most important stage of the season, both of these same players suffered injury problems. And back then we were saying, look, we're light at fullback. This is an area we need to improve. This is an area we need depth in, because if you lose these 2, you're really, really up against it. So Barca right now, this is a massive, massive concern. Now, Eric Garcia can come back in. He was obviously suspended last night against Atletico Madrid. We've seen him being deployed at fullback in several games this season. There's no doubt about that. He can do the job. And let me just say as well, João Cancelo's playing very, very well. I've got to give him credit right now. He played really, really well last night. Again, that's where you want him. You want him attacking. You want him there firing those pinpoint crosses into the box. He's been absolutely superb over the past few games. Cancelo, we're going to need him now. He is a player we absolutely need to call upon. But in the fullback areas, massive concerns, because now you don't want anything to happen to those 2. We have to protect the players that we have, because defensively, we are already becoming very, very lightweight. And the only thing I really use to counteract that here, to sort of avoid any negative energy, at Newcastle right now, they're having their own problems too. Now, they say today, Eddie Howe has said, the squad is struggling. There's a virus going around Newcastle right now. A lot of players are sick as it stands. Now, they played Manchester United tonight in the Premier League. That's going to be a big, big game for them in terms of their season. They haven't been very, very good at all in the Premier League, to be honest. And then at the weekend, they play Man City in the FA Cup. So what you'd say is 2 very, very difficult games for Newcastle before they play Barca, and their squad is suffering with a virus. So both teams right now are going through some injury problems. However, guys, this is the moment now where we have to talk about Ferran Torres. Now, I wasn't really sure where to include this in the video, because obviously the mood was very, very good last night. A lot of things were good about the way that Barca played. I think most Barca players there really can be proud of themselves. But, well, Ferran, he wasn't very good. Let me just put it like that. Top-notch analysis here from me. He didn't play well at all. And I've got to say right now, guys, if he has a better game against Atleti, we make that comeback in normal time. It happens. We will do it in the 90 minutes if we had a number 9 who put the ball in the back of the net. That's just the reality of it. Now, that might sound harsh towards Ferran Torres, but let me just say this as well. When you're the starting 9 at Barca, that's the pressure you have. That is on your shoulders. You have a massive responsibility to deliver, especially in this system right here. You will get chances, you will get a lot of opportunities in and around the box. You have to take them. Because what I'd say about Ferran right now, we have seen this too many times. What really, really annoys and irritates me, how many times have we had this conversation? In a big game, Ferran, chance, missed. It happens way, way too often that we come here and we talk about Ferran. Yeah, he scored a decent amount of goals this season. When you're looking at his goal record, it's a decent record in my opinion. This season he's been 1 in 2 in La Liga. In the Champions League, he's a 1 in 3 player. Now that's a decent return. Is that starting Barca quality? No chance. It is not even close right now. Ferran Torres cannot be the main 9 at Barca. We can't go into the future thinking, we can depend on him. He's a decent player. He's a decent option. He is not your starting 9 to go into the future with. Because right now, his last goal came at the end of January. It's been 7 games with Ferran without a goal, without an assist. He hasn't been playing well. And I just think right now, this has to be a message to the club. I'm not just slating Ferran for fun. I know that he has his uses. I know that he can be effective in certain situations. And he can provide goals. But the club have to understand he cannot be the player that you put your unwavering support and trust in to lead this team forward in attack. I'm sorry, that cannot happen. Because, hey, we've got Marc Bernal. This guy is a goal machine. And let's end on that. Let's end on something so positive here. Marc Bernal is not only playing football, he hasn't only recovered from an absolutely horrific injury to come back and look better, look stronger, look physically more ready for this team. But not only all of that, he is banging in the goals right now. This is a goal machine. What a player he is, what a talent, and just so happy to see him doing well, guys. And what a night it was. You know, Barca did us all proud, they made us all happy, and now let's get ready, let's recover, let's do what's necessary to produce our absolute peak performances in the UEFA Champions League, guys. So please let me know all of your thoughts in the comments down below. What would you do on Saturday against Athletic Club? How would you best prepare for Newcastle? And what are your thoughts on Ferran? You know, his performance last night, what we need to do in that number 9 role. Let me know all of that down below. Great to be here with you. Great to be here for a big video. I will see you all soon. But until next time, as always, Veshka, El Barça.